put you on the spot, because otherwise we might have it.
You bet.
You're not saying it, it's one of the things that, Did you see that 2-pager, the airport thing?
Yeah.
Invite to show up at the airport.
Are you kidding me? I was out there shoveling my penis guts.
You're a firefighter, you got those muscles.
I was just thinking, I'm pretty sure we're talking about our snow removal contract. Where the hell's he at? Was it in the thick packet? In the airport?
What's that?
I'm not the only one that could do
Just
that.
the stuff they.
If you put that, as he says, it's no different than saying that your meeting minutes. You just don't have to, try to ask for.
I was under the impression.
Yeah.
It's in there somewhere. I think.
Well, I was like,
Thought I wanted to try to use it.
It's just like saying, you're not asking for.
how's that, yeah.
It is 7:30. We have a quorum. I will call the meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Open forum.
Well, I kind of have a question.
Yes.
In back of us, you know, where we live, the people next to us, they park their cars like in their boats back there. It's not even their property. And it belongs to, that's supposed to be a park. So can you guys write them a letter and tell them to get their junk off, or
We
how does
talked
that work?
about that at our last meeting, that's one of the areas.
Well, they've said another car, so.
Nancy, I'll talk to you after the meeting, just so I give the address right and so forth.
Okay.
Anything else?
Can isn't that set up as a, like an open area for like a park
Yeah.
for the whole community?
Yeah, not that I want to park, but,
No, I know, yeah, but, okay.
Is it an outlot?
yeah.
They created a lot of outlots,
Yeah.
you know, as a buffer strip, so that's really nice.
And how many dogs can live in a
3.
It's really,
3?
3 small dogs.
And how many people can live in a house if it's not their family?
I don't believe we have that in ordinance.
some places, let me see if we have it in our definitions. A lot of places will say 4 unrelated individuals is the next. Here we go. Family means any of the following in a single dwelling: individual or 2 more persons related by blood, or a group of not more than 5 people.
Good. Anything else for open forum? Yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
If not, we'll close open forum. We will move to approve meeting minutes, or September 15th regular meeting. Printed in front of you. Tuesday, September 15th. Any additions, deletions, corrections?
I've got one, under the Princeton Township reopening preparedness plan, Mr. Duden and Mr. Whitcomb, or not Whitcomb, but Wilhelm, myself.
Sorry, say it.
Your Princeton Township reopening preparedness plan, you said
Third
Mr.
page.
Duden and Mr. Hiller reported that the plan has been completed. That was Mr. Wilhelm.
Yep. Any other additions, corrections? If not, entertain a motion to accept.
I make a motion to accept the minutes as,
Motion been made to accept the minutes of the September 15th regular meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Motion been seconded by John. Is there any further discussion? If not, we'll vote on the motion to approve the September 15th regular meeting with the addition or change of Mr. Wilhelm from Mr. Hiller. Is there any further discussion? If not, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Next item is the work session, working meeting for October 7th. Any discussion, additions, corrections? If there are none, I entertain a motion to accept.
So moved.
Motion been made by Mr. Hiller
I'll second that.
and seconded by Mr. Whitcomb to accept the October 7th working meeting minutes. Is there any further discussion? I believe we did. Is there any discussion on looking at the comp plan? Or no, which was it? That was supposed to, should have been forwarded to this agenda. I missed it until now. We can add that as new business. If that's all right.
Need a motion for that, to add that to the.
We're gonna have,
I wasn't sure that we needed to have minutes at all for this.
I don't think we really do.
Is there any-
Although I see them in the.
But if you want to, I'm thinking if you want to add to the agenda, then you used to have a motion to add to the agenda here and then approve that addition to the agenda.
I'd make a motion to add the comprehensive plan discussion as new business to the agenda.
Motion been made by Mr. Whitcomb. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
To add, we'll work with our East Central Regional Development Commission on comp plan and with Mr. Richards. Is there any further discussion? If not, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of the motion to work on the comp plan with the East Central Regional Development, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion's carried. Is there any further additions, deletions to the October 7th working meeting? We already have a motion to accept and seconded. Is there any further discussion? If there is no further discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of accepting the October 7th working meeting minutes, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion's carried. Mr. Dahl, clerk treasurer's report.
Yeah, I need to start by apologizing because I've been running to catch up here. I don't have those, I sent that out, I don't know if everyone got the cash control, and we have the documents for approval, their payroll and claims.
Everybody have them?
Oh, yeah, you got some of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, these are all signed. Okay. There's some additional reports that I put out there, Schedule 1, receipts and disbursements are in those reports. Apologize, my brain's in a blender here. Approved return of Studebaker escrow. I'm trying to figure out why I put that on there. I guess because I'm wondering if I can return the Studebaker escrow. And what is involved in that? Is it just, I think we just have to have a motion for it, right? The Studebaker is, it's all cleared out.
That would be a release by Scott.
Any of the engineering or planning, if we're all done with it, which I assume we are.
Yeah,
Should be good.
yeah. I've taken out all the charges against it from engineering and planning, so that has a balance in there. But should I run that balance past you, Scott, or what should you do?
You could, most jurisdictions that I deal with just, once it's all cleared out, just automatically return the escrow. I don't know if you need town board approval for it, but unless the town board feels that they need to,
When you have all signed off on it.
then it just gets returned.
Okay. Cleanup day, we took in $1,931. Our charges were $3,846, so it cost us $1,915 to do the cleanup day. Of course, we had a lot of tires, we had a lot of stuff that we had collected, so it doesn't surprise me that we had that much. First State Tire charges $986, and then Jim's Mille Lacs is $2,860 for those two.
And then that was against what we brought in, right?
Yeah, so we,
That was our net.
yeah, we came, we ended up paying out $1,915 more than we took in. And then we have the two snow plowing bids are actually from the same vendor, one for 1 year, one for 5 years. So I don't know what, Thomas isn't here. I don't know what his opinion is about that. Whether you want to go 1 or 5.
I spoke with Jason Hill about it. Should we discuss that now, or should we, part of the old business, snow and ice? I suppose now, huh? Let's see. His letter, if I can find it. Oh, no, it's not it. Yeah, it is. My question to him was, there are a few questions I have that might change the thoughts on attending today's meeting. I was wondering if you looked over the snow policy, and so far we have snow plowing bid from one contractor. It was submitted as a 1-year bid, and a second from the same company for a 5-year contract. Is a 5-year bid contract something you see very often? I would like the 5-year. I would think the 5-year contract might need a little extra language in it, saying that if the township is not satisfied with the work, or are there other issues that the contract could be terminated? We'll most likely be making a decision on that at the next meeting. His response was, he drafted a snow ice policy using information from Thomas and other standard language in that policy, and he sent it to you. He's gonna add it to the packet. He says, with regard to the contract, we don't typically see 5-year contracts. My standard road maintenance contract includes termination language regardless of the duration of the contracts, so I don't know that I would necessarily have an issue with 5 years. It may actually benefit the town in that you lock in a price, assuming that's part of the deal, and you simply lock someone in to do the work. It's my understanding that many townships are having more and more difficulty actually finding people to bid for these contracts. That being said, we generally see 1 to 2 year contracts. Let me know if you want a version of a road maintenance agreement to review. This is contract for snow plowing for year-round, grading, ditch, etc. So that's what he had said about the 5-year contract. It's not typical, but, and I did slap the numbers into a spreadsheet, surprise, surprise. So I've got what the difference is from a 1-year contract to a 5-year contract with the 5% increase that he talked about. And if anybody wants to look at those numbers, I've got them here.
I'd love to look at those.
So that's the first year.
So you're looking at 5 years from now, we're looking at 25% increase, so, well, actually about 28 with the compound.
Yeah.
I'm not in favor of a 5-year contract at all. The one verbiage that I would have liked to seen in there was an auto extend feature at the end of the contract. Instead of having to send it out for a bid every year, if the township's happy, the contractor's happy, we can do an auto extend feature where you don't have to go through the whole bid process again. I have a couple contracts like that with City of St. Paul and other municipalities. So typically they go 2 to 5 years, depends on how many times you want to auto extend them. So that way you don't have to rebid them every time.
If we can go through the items one by one, we have the cash control statement first. As you see, we went from 558,000 to 256,000, but we did, I thought we all had and you all signed it, I think.
Yep.
But we did not get any money from the county this month.
No, I haven't
And
come
we,
in.
and we had to pay out the Knife River. So we paid for the 33rd and 82nd.
And haven't received anything back from the
We haven't received money from the city yet, right?
No, it hasn't. It said I billed them, but they haven't.
So everything is kind of looking kind of sour right now. We do have money, final money coming from the county, and we also have money coming from the city. So the 256 that we are sitting on today looks a little bleak. But there is some help coming. We have a motion to accept the cash control statement. Or should we go together with that, with the payroll and the claims for approval?
Go together.
Put them all together?
Yeah.
Is there a motion to accept those three?
I'll make the motion.
Motion's been made to accept these three. Is there a second? I will second the motion. Is there any further discussion on the motion to accept the cash control statement, September payroll, and claims for approval? If not, we will vote on that motion. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion's carried. Next item is approved return of Studebaker escrow.
Some extra copy.
That's kind of taking care of itself if they've all signed off. You kind of told us about the cleanup day receipts and charges, that was part of the claims for approval. We'll move down to the snow plowing bids. Unless somebody's got something else to deal with on the escrow or the cleanup day charges. We'll move down to snow plowing bids. We have a 1 year and 5 year contract in front of us.
So are we jumping forward to old business then, or are we just?
No, we're just going, he started back at the top, instead of running through, he just wanted to go through them one at a time. So we're on the seventh bullet now? Sixth bullet, under clerk treasurer.
6 board, snow plowing bids received to date.
I like the idea, if we're in discussion on this, I like what Dan was saying about the option to re-up without having to put it out for bid again. That makes sense to me.
I know nobody that has a government contract that gets a 5% increase every year. I've had one for 20+ years and can't do that, so I don't like this 5 year at all.
I like the idea of accepting the 1 year and then working toward getting it, what the Dan said. Getting
Just an auto extend feature
a,
that's.
where we don't have to
Yeah.
bid it every year.
Yeah.
Just see-
You have to, I don't remember if there's a state law or whatever, but I think the max it can go out is 5 years. You gotta double check on that, but I know, the St. Paul and Plumont, we've had that contract for 20+ years, and it seems like every 5 years we gotta rebid it or whatever, so, I don't remember how long you can extend it out, but instead of going through this every year, if Brian's happy or whoever gets the contract is happy, just keep going with it.
Yeah.
I'd make a motion to approve the 1 year contract.
Motion has been made to approve the 1 year contract. Is there a second?
I'd second that.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the 1 year contract. Is there any further discussion?
So, we'll work out the particulars then for extending it later, or how does?
I don't know that we can really do it on this contract. It'll probably be, we'll have to make sure we put something in unless Jason thinks he can add it in there to the,
With what we talked about?
yeah, unless he thinks he can add it in there and it'd be a kosher deal, but otherwise it'll probably have to be something that'll be addressed next year.
I believe that'd be the best way to approach it, would be just to accept the 1 year as is.
Okay.
We might get snow a little early, guys.
Is there any further discussion? Motion has been made and seconded to accept the 1 year contract as printed. Is there any further discussion? If not, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of accepting the snow plowing bid as received for 1 year, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion's carried.
See that piece of paper there?
Acquire Bremer Brent debit card.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Initially, it was, we have the Microsoft 365 on a monthly, and it hits my credit card, and then I put it on expenses, and thought, well, I'm not here anymore. I don't want to keep paying for it. But, and then other things come up, such as Ken had a lot of charges that he carried. So if we had a debit card, we could use that instead of having people put, several $100s of township expenses on their credit card and then passing it on as a claim. So that was the reason why I brought it up. I talked to the bank, and it's just a matter of saying, yeah, we'll take it, and it has to be a signer on it. So it would.
It should only be one person, that person should be you.
Yeah, and I'm a signer on the account, so it could go in my name. And then it would be subject to all of the usual documentation and everything that we would do when we get bills. But there are places that we don't have accounts with them, we just buy a one-off, and it runs up expenses for people. So, you know, if people need to buy something somewhere like that, then I can give them the debit card. And
How do you handle it then, with, like tax exempt items?
Well, I don't know that you can even, it would have to be you. I mean, you wouldn't be able to just give Ken the
no, I
debit
couldn't
card.
do that.
Yeah.
But if he had something he needed to buy, then I could contact him. But I have, you know, we have the ST3 form that we can send to anybody from a tax exempt status. But I'm just thinking that would, you know, I'm sure there'll still be incidentals that won't be a big deal, but, you know, we're talking $1,600, it gets to be a little bit on the heavy end. I don't know how long that would, whether that's just going to be an extraordinary deal, I don't know. But, just for, also for a transition, that would stay on that card. Anything that's a monthly bill would go to that card instead of onto an individual's personal card. That's what I was thinking about.
So right now, like with our internet stuff, you get billed that and then?
No, the internet through Centurylink, we get the bill from Centurylink and pay it. But it's Microsoft
Oh, I'm sorry, Microsoft.
365, you know, the Office suite. When I signed up for that, it required a credit card and an individual to charge it to, so I just put mine on there. And then I put it on my expenses.
My go-to meeting was that same situation, almost.
Yeah, but I did the same thing, I just paid it and put it on the, that's another one that we could too, that would be another recurring expense. If we have any of those others, that's primarily what I'm concerned about, is the continuity of that. You know, when I shuffle off this mortal coil.
I'm fine with getting a debit card, I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you need a motion for that?
That'd be good. Back me up on it.
Is that a motion?
I'd make a motion to have Doug get a Bremer debit card.
In Doug's,
Well, he'd be the only signer on it.
he'd be the only signer.
Right.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded to have Doug acquire Bremer debit card. Him being the sole signer. Is there any further discussion? If there is no further discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of acquiring a Bremer debit card with Mr. Dahl's being sole signator, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion's carried. Centurylink new modem and speed upgrade.
Yeah, the modem, I was unable to connect to the internet. And I would work with Centurylink tech support back and forth for quite a while. And they finally concluded that the modem had failed. So I said we needed a new modem. So I put in the order for the new modem. They also said that there's a speed upgrade available for us. They said, well, you're on a very slow speed, you should be on this speed, and there was no additional charge for that. So I thought, okay, that's sort of a no-brainer, let's take the higher speed. The modem was scheduled to arrive last Friday, but it didn't come yesterday, it came today. And in the interim, the old modem has decided to work again. I mean, I would come in, try it, nothing there, and then I tried it today and it was working again. So I don't know if it's intermittent, but it strikes me that that's probably not a modem problem then. So,
It's a CenturyLink problem.
yeah, see, that's what I was thinking.
It's convenient that the bundling was available when that went out. as well.
We've recently had a very big uptick with the new school problems of everybody going online with school.
Okay.
That a lot of people in this area are having a really big problem with CenturyLink,
Yeah.
where kids can't get in class and
I was just going to cancel the modem upgrade because I don't think that's the problem. It just, it
We got the
presented
speed
that.
though, didn't we?
Yeah, the speed is separate from that. The speed isn't connected to the modem, it's connected to the DSL, which,
Don't we have a contract, a service contract?
the old modem we bought it, and it had a 1-year warranty. And we've used it for 12 years, so it's served pretty well. If you buy it, you get a 1-year warranty. If you lease it, pay every month, then it's covered as long as you have it. But that gets a lot more expensive. And it's not really ordinarily a high-risk item. They'll usually last for years without any kind of problem.
Do you guys know, has Midco come this far north yet, or are they still down in Princeton?
They're still in Princeton. I think they're trying to work their way up. I know they were even struggling with like my parents' house, and my parents' house is in the middle of town, so.
Are they laying fiber or what are they doing?
It's very complicated because Midco wasn't gonna do it. They were gonna leave, and then they bought up Windstreams, and then it just got really complicated. So I don't know where they're at now. I know they were supposed to start going back up.
Windstream is satellite, weren't they?
They were some of our.
No, they were wireless, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, we wouldn't be on any kind of a contract with Centurylink. We change any time. But yeah, the speed upgrade is there, and I've actually noticed a difference when we get on it. But
Did they say what the speed
upgrade?
upgrade
Cancel
was?
that modem and save that expense, because when it's working, it's fine, and it doesn't seem to be related to the modem.
What speed are we getting now?
You would ask. It's, I think there's 1.5 megabits, and I think it went up to around 10. I mean, it was a significant increase, because we were a couple of generations behind. Don't quote me on that. I'd have to look, but
Doug just needs it because he needs to stream Netflix in the afternoon now.
Well,
let me go to the last item. Just a couple of the, to bring this in. Mille Lacs Association of Townships, they canceled their meeting this fall. Hoffman Oil has now become Princeton One Stop, but our account remains there. And we got the MAT publication, and they list their conferences in there. So if you're interested in any of those fall conferences, they're listed in the book in there. We can sign up for them. Do you guys see that?
the state
I don't.
ones, the state meeting is, and conferences and training sessions are November 20th and 21st, I believe it is. And it's like an evening, the 20th, and open session the Monday or Saturday morning from like 9 to 11.
In
And you'll find out
the
your,
MAT conference.
yeah.
Yeah, that's different. These are for the training. I did get the email on the MAT conference.
And I think you find that in your
These are, on their,
Insider magazine.
all these things are listed on their website. But they have a fairly extensive selection of training. I intend to take a couple of for clerk, treasurer stuff.
And they're all Zoom.
Yep.
I'm scheduled for myself today. I registered.
Yeah, if you're interested in any of that, just see me. I can make copies of it.
If, going back to CenturyLink, your new modem and speed upgrade, if you're having trouble with it, we can't have it off and on, it's gotta be continuous, so.
Yeah.
I think just knowing that, or understood that you have to get fixed with it, what needs fixing.
Yeah.
So you don't have to go home and do something off your home computer.
Yeah, it was burning up County Road 13 there. Quite a bit.
But, so I say, if something needs to be purchased, I think it needs to be done.
Yeah.
And modems are $200.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like a $10,000 item.
And while he's on that last one, I got the name switched over at Mars also. For people who can charge on those.
Okay.
What was that now?
We switched everything at Mars.
Oh, yeah, Mars. We updated the names. they're permitted to charge there.
Anything else?
I want the building in pole barn.
I actually did.
Oh shit, this is online, I probably should have said that.
Just have to mumble.
We'll be looking for the barn. Make sure you get a permit.
Anything else?
Egg permit.
We'll move on to zoning administration report, second reading of ordinance.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. At your September 15th meeting, you waived first reading of the amendments to the zoning and the subdivision ordinance. There was a couple questions you had related to cul-de-sacs, that being that provision that cul-de-sacs currently are not permitted in the River Conservation District. And then also you talked about lot width requirements at the ordinary high water mark. So in the, opposite the road, you're adjacent to the, a wetland, a lake or whatever. There was the question, do we need that 150-foot setback or that lot width? I talked to Mark Anderson, the DNR. He actually called me the day after the town board meeting. Those are items that they would like to see go through their typical DNR process, which involves another public hearing. So I separated those two items out of this ordinance so we can move forward with it. There's some people that are waiting to do some lot splits, and I don't want to hold them up anymore with that. So the planning commission has already set a public hearing for their November meeting to look at taking out the provision that cul-de-sacs are not permitted in the River Conservation District and possibly taking out the 150-foot requirement. Mark Anderson said that it probably won't be an issue. It's not part of the model ordinance, but they did want to review it as they do any of our changes to those wetland and lake-related requirements. So with that, there is a revised ordinance. I've made a couple quick corrections in it in reading it through. There's provisions for commercial industrial district. There's lots, area and width for 2.5 acre lots and 1.25 acre lots that are platted. So I added that in. I had missed that in the ordinance. So nothing changes with anything. It's what you reviewed before with all the changes, but what's in front of you tonight is the final ordinance. So I guess the motion that you would make for this is you would waive second reading, so I don't have to sit and read the entire thing to you, unless, Gene, you want me to do that. So you waive second reading and just move to adopt, and then when you're done with that, there's also a resolution so that we can publish it by summary, so we don't have to publish the whole thing for $800 to $900. It'll do this for probably less than 100. So those are the two actions on this tonight. Any questions on it?
Well, I promised a long meeting, so I didn't think you should read it all.
So we'll deal with the 500-foot, the 150-foot another time then?
Yeah, the planning commission already will set the public hearing for that. So. That and the cul-de-sac. So the planning commission with that additional meeting, they did take one last look through all this, and with those changes, we're comfortable with it, with the language.
I would entertain a motion to waive the reading of the entire thing.
I'd second that.
Waive second reading and motion to
I made a
adopt.
motion to waive the second reading.
Yeah, I'd
Bill
second that. I
seconded.
seconded that.
Okay.
Is there any further discussion? If there's no further discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of waiving the second reading, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion's carried. Now, this would be ordinance number 2020 dash.
One, right? We haven't done another ordinance, right?
Yeah, let me go back. I think there's a second ordinance. We did the other changes too. Actually, this is probably number 3.
Okay.
Let me go back.
I was looking at, I need to copy to those things, 'cause I don't
Yeah.
have the signed copies.
Okay.
What would be the number?
I think it'd be number 3 because we had the two other ordinances that we had done before, so I think it's
Okay.
number 3. We'll go back and look. The next item I have, is the, of course, the passing the summary.
Did we actually approve the?
Well, you're waiving, with your
We waived
motion,
the reading, okay.
you waive the reading and adopt. So,
Okay.
so the minutes should reflect that he waived the second reading and adopted it.
Okay,
And then you need to adopt the summary ordinance, so that's a separate resolution.
Still need to vote on that. You got the motion and the
So,
second,
I
but
thought
that
I hacked it up.
hasn't been a vote.
We did vote.
Or was there a
We didn't
vote?
get an, oh yeah, we did, yeah, we did.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Must be the winter storm.
COVID, blame it on COVID.
COVID brain. So Gene, it's the resolution now to publish with the summary ordinance.
I would move that we publish with summary ordinance, the proper term.
Yes.
Is there a second to that motion?
I second that.
Motion's been made and seconded to publish with a summary ordinance. Is there any further discussion? If there is no further discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of publishing with a summary ordinance, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion's carried.
The next item I have is the letter to A&Z Restaurant Equipment. Just pointing out that the fact that they're essentially in violation of their conditional use permit. I gave until November 2nd. I didn't see any activity out there that would correct that. I think we may have to look at it at November 2nd, and if there's still snow on the ground, hopefully they've made a little improvements. I did take pictures, I guess a couple days after November 2nd when I was out here for the Planning Commission meeting, and, pardon me?
November what?
November 2nd. For, well, no, the September 30th was the letter, November 2nd is the date that they need to start making some compliance with it. So I'll go back and check it, and I look at it when I'm out here for Planning Commission. The next step may be we just give them until spring, but then get on their case, write them another letter right away if there's no activity, and then probably follow up with a letter from the attorney on it and to revoke their CUP. So we're on it. We'll continue working on that. There's no action required for
They got
this.
stuff in your yard or what?
No, that was taken care of years ago.
They push stuff beyond the fence and beyond the.
It's everything else, everything's out front. They even have, sometimes trucks will be blocking the road because they can't back in to that north end entrance.
Yeah.
Why don't they just recycle all that? There's no way it's.
We
It's
missed,
just been an ongoing
we missed
problem
notice
for
of
years.
road vacation.
Okay, I didn't wanna be
Oh,
picking a
that's
fight
right.
if it was just this year being, okay. All right.
Let's get back to that. I'm sorry, Gene. The next one is TMK Properties. That's a subdivision for Woods Push Up lot plat. There was that section beyond the cul-de-sac that was township right-of-way. Jason Hill has taken a look at that. He drafted the public hearing and then the resolution you need to adopt to set the public hearing. They did submit a proper petition to close that road or that portion of that road. So all you're doing tonight is adopting the resolution that Jason has provided to set the public hearing, and then I'll publish that in next week's Union Times. So,
Do we have a length on that vacation?
do we have
How long of a, how much of that road is being vacated?
Craig Winsman hasn't gotten back to me with I believe he's got it surveyed, but he hasn't done the document yet, so I don't know exactly how many feet it is yet.
We need a motion for this or not?
Yep. Motion and second and adopt the resolution.
We need a motion to provide notice of a road vacation hearing, a public hearing that would be set at, are we gonna have it at 7:30 or at 7:15?
How would you like to do it? Or how have you done in the past? I've indicated 7:30, but we can make it 7:15 if you prefer.
Yeah, so we have a public hearing before the regular meeting.
We can certainly do that.
Hopefully 15 minutes is all it takes.
Yeah, shouldn't take long.
Okay. Is there a motion to post this for public hearing on November 17th?
So moved.
Second.
made and seconded to post the notice of road vacation for the special, public hearing on November 17th. Is there any further discussion?
At 7:15.
7:15, right? Any further discussion? If not, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of the motion to have a hearing on November 17th, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Old business, CARES grant act, or grant report from subcommittee. Move to three.
You're looking at me?
I'm looking at you. You were just writing like crazy last Friday. I
Well,
can fill in. the
did
day.
we come to any conclusions? We wrote down some possibilities. Did you talk to Mr. Penske?
I did. I mentioned to him about the 10,000, well, we didn't have really a dollar amount.
One of the questions that we were talking about was if we had to have specific items with specific dollar amounts, or if we could make a block grant and say, for this particular project, we're allocating X number of dollars. And that's what we're gonna talk to.
And he said, no, you have to have basically, essentially have the receipts in hand, so that they know exactly how much those are. So he seemed very interested, or he thought the jumpsuits were a great idea, so he was good with that. He was also with the cleaning products that we talked about, and also everything that we had mentioned, he was good with.
Yeah, because we talked about a 1-year subscription to Zoom or GoToMeeting. Just make that in case we have to, do a call-in meeting, we have that set up. And then, we said no turnout gear, right?
Correct. We're doing the jumpsuits, not.
Okay, so that one, we were looking at, what, approximately 13,000?
Yeah, it was gonna be 12 and change.
37, I think we put down. Another thing we talked about was acquiring the laptops. Apparently that's a fairly popular item right now for the supervisors in the event that we do have to do.
You like your Surface?
Bring it everywhere with us.
Literally.
Working
But-
on it now, working on it here, working on it
I
there.
would, I would recommend, because of how much battery it likes to eat up, like, I'm always available, I'd use laptops. Because the Zoom eats the battery on those.
But if you're using them here, you could have ducks.
Yeah, here you could put in docks, but for at home, they get a little bit more drain heavy.
Because that's both touchscreen and then you have an attachable keyboard.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I also have,
There was a pen until I lost her pen.
he gave it back to the state of Minnesota.
Well, that's
It was mine.
they already take my money.
So, anyways, and then you can get nice cases with
Surface
this.
can be, a little, they're fairly expensive if you buy them new. I have one, but I got it as a refurb or something, but I think the laptops are fairly inexpensive. If you go with that.
We were just talking 2 laptops,
Two.
so we weren't talking for all the supervisors. We were gonna do
No, I
one
think
for,
we-
one for you and then probably one for Bill on the road, where he's doing all
Yeah.
the road report stuff and whatever also. I don't see
Yeah,
a
that
reason for
second
all of us
one
to
would
have
be
one.
primarily here,
To run the meeting.
yeah. But those are some of the possibilities, but I think what we're stuck with is having to come up with those specific numbers and then approving them at a special meeting, because we don't have the concrete and there's so much pressure to get this done. So,
And I did get some information from Nick and Andrea just about the teleconferencing
Okay.
equipment, and I put that in front of you. I don't know if you got anything from Mr. Puffer, but
I did not, he texted me today and said that he wasn't able to come up with anything.
so these are just things that you can find online. Each one of these is a link. If you have the electronic document for the Logitech group, there's a Logitech Rally Plus, I think it's sent to everybody. There's the D10 on So it varies from basically $1,350 up to $3,000. And then if we needed some other things in there, I know one of the things that we couldn't add as part of this was money that we'd already spent or had set aside in the budget for some sort of display and monitor. And those are coming down significantly. You can get a 70-inch TV is $500.
Just by way of explanation, the purpose of this would be to be able to have a mixed meeting.
Yep.
So we have people here, and there's a couple people who say, I can't come in, or I don't wanna come in.
I'm at home with COVID.
I'm scared to death. They could tie into the meeting and participate in the meeting without everybody having to be on go-to-meeting or something like that. So, you know, we'd have the equipment here, and then someone could be engaged in the meeting remotely. And that would be the purpose of this. But do these require a technician here to run these?
No, so it depends on the setup. A few of them are, we would need to get the camera set up, get the software on whichever computer you're using, figure out how many mics you want, since it's kind of a wide desk, maybe a couple, maybe one for up there for people who want to speak during open forum. And then that D10 on I just thought was fun because not only is it the camera for teleconferencing and the mic system, but it's also a display for interactivity if you wanted to show things during the meeting or present as well. It looks like you can get it with wheels, which I thought was fun. But that one's the simplest, where you just get everything installed and you're good to go. It primarily works with Zoom though. And then the other ones, two of them were specifically recommended, like the website that I listed was from GoTo, so that they recommend those specific ones so that we know that it's compatible if you stick with that. And then like the one that I saw with the best ratings was that Avera VC520, works with GoTo or Zoom. Basically we would just want to make sure that we get it in a good spot and it catches everybody, that the mics work, and that would just take minimal prep. And then if you had Zoom, you could also record and live stream your own meetings.
If I can ask, what is the city using?
It's called an owl.
I didn't put that on there because I don't like it.
I saw that.
But you
It
can
is
check
the
that one if you...
Stupidest thing I've ever seen.
And I don't like it.
It looks like a 90s music video where like everybody's in the picture. and
Sits
it's
in the,
moving
so it's
around.
about $900. There's a bad echo on it too. But when you use it, you have to have it hooked up right to a laptop right there. And part of the thing is too with it is if over here, you know, John coughs, but you have someone talking over here, sometimes it will just take itself away before people are done talking. Like he did his forum because he's running, and half the time when you watch a video, he's talking, but it's on someone else. And that was the only reason I don't like that owl, is because it's just, there's too much going on. It jumps around, and like even with this, we just have it on you guys. You can see who's talking. You know, I kind of get to know your voices. I can tell nowadays, but it's easier than the owl who will jump.
But all of these except for the giant fun thing on wheels can pan, tilt, zoom, and we can set the sensitivity so that it's not chasing people around. But with a 120-degree angle, it's probably catching different people, and some of them have controls where if Doug wanted to zoom in on somebody, he could, or like if Bill, you put something on the wall, it could zoom in on it.
And I was reading one of them, they had like 10 settings, so you could have it set to just zoom in on that, or
Yep.
us or the crowd, you could have different settings that
Right.
are
Just presets.
presets, yeah.
The reason I ask is because whatever they have, I don't want.
Right.
It's not on here.
I am
No.
on board.
Don't worry.
But yeah, nowadays most of it, with my background, I could install it with anyone's background. It's just like anything else you plug into the computer at this point. Because everyone has to use Zoom, everyone has to do this or that.
So
And
what
our
he did
deadline-
say is, November, I was gonna say, the deadline is November 15th, so we're gonna have to decide on what we're gonna do, then probably call a special meeting with the actual,
Because we have to have,
Dollar amount.
have receipts in hand.
well,
Well,
We're
pretty
gonna
much,
issue.
we're gonna have to have receipts, yeah, so, I mean, that's, I was talking with Ron, so kinda he's needing guidance from us tonight. Are we gonna be kosher on buying these jumpsuits, and then he'll put somebody from them in contact with Doug and get us an exact dollar amount, and then we'll have to vote on approving that. I know absolutely nothing about this electronic stuff or installing it. I don't know what your background is or what you guys are gonna charge. I mean, we're gonna need to get some kind of, definitely what is it gonna cost installed in our building.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll have to approve that at that meeting.
What kind of numbers are you looking at for the jumpsuit?
It was 12,030.
12,037, yeah, around 13.
So we're looking at a total of 56,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not
We're not
even
gonna come
close
close
to that. I mean, we're gonna barely tickle 20. So,
Well, and that's where you could look at, instead of getting laptops for everybody, like the iPads, and have it so that way, not the iPads, like a tablet, that way it can go to the next supervisor. Because the thing is like the city, I wish I knew what they just bought. They all bought these little, like, they're smaller than these guys. They're not the big Surface Pros. They're like the next version down.
Like the micro or.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they each have one. And it's, you know, you sign a contract, if you break it, you buy it kind of thing.
Like a Galaxy Tab or
Yep.
I like that idea. The only thing that I don't like on it is, this is free money that's getting printed out of Never Never Land. If we all of a sudden go out and buy a bunch of these and one breaks, who's paying for it? Is the supervisor paying for it, or if they gotta get updated? I just don't wanna take on a bunch more extra expenses for our township just because we're getting free money. You know, that's, we kinda talked about it with those jumpsuits. We made sure that, okay, you're not gonna come out to us in 10 years and say, oh, we need to spend another $13,000 on jumpsuits, and all of a sudden they're coming to us. So we wanna spend the money wisely, but we don't also wanna have it where somewhere 4 years down the road, it's gonna be costing us more money just because we spent the money, so. I think buying a laptop for Doug and getting a couple laptops is a great idea, but,
If I can ask, the turnout here is, that's.
We're pulling the turnoff gear off the table. Reason being is, one, it was a little maybe sketchy, and then two, they can't get it made in time. And right now, they're not offering any kind of an extension on it, so.
And so, as a jumpsuit, as a comparison,
So it's not gonna be anything we're gonna use in the grass fire call, any kind of fire call itself. It's gonna be medicals only, and it's gonna keep any, icky poo yuckies from getting on us. So, instead of chancing, wrecking a set of gear that's $3,500, these are $270. So if one does get wrecked, which it does happen from time to time, instead of having to buy that expensive set, you got a $200-some set for that. So.
so we were allocating 56, and we're gonna spend about 1,000 on Zoom, and less than that. Couple hundred on
Zoom's gonna
Zoom,
be,
and
Yeah, it's, well, if we did a year at $30,
oh, okay,
$360.
760, okay.
and then the cleanup, all the chemicals were gonna be,
That came out to right around $225 for half a dozen bottles, and then the concentrated viricide that we can dispense out into the bottles would probably be at least a year's supply for the 5 liters that we'd be buying, so.
then did you have a price on the masks?
I did not, I don't know where the masks were coming from.
we talked about maybe getting, but we were also gonna check with the county to see what all the county had up there for.
And hand sanitizer
Yep.
too.
Yeah.
Now, the plexiglass that I'm gonna put up here, that would be covered under that CARES money? That I've got a receipt for it with the reimbursement for that, receipts in there for that. That's, well, with the hanging, altogether, it's come out right around $500. this is gravel.
And that will come from the county's allocation they gave us. About $1,000 that they gave us for the election. Anything related to the election, we'll take it out of that.
So we need to get some lockdown to the penny numbers. Can you guys, do you wanna work with them and pick
Yeah.
out, you guys work and figure out which one's gonna be the best one, what you're gonna charge to install it, and what it's shipping and everything, what it's gonna cost to have it sitting in the building?
And, well, we're gonna wanna do it all at the same time with everything.
Yep.
And we gotta decide, do we want something in the back, since we're gonna have multiple people, you know, we could be, I mean, do the supervisors wanna look at something on the back wall if something's being presented, or do we want just like monitors that you can look at that are close?
So the nice thing about the way the city is set up, they got monitors on both sides, so if you're sitting here, one's flashing here, you're not looking up like this, you can watch
So
across.
we'll come up with that?
Yeah, you guys come up with that and,
Yeah.
I need some kind of guidance, if you guys are kosher on that, I'll let Ron know, and then I'll get Doug's contact information to Ron, and he'll get it to the rep. And then we need to schedule a special meeting.
Jumpsuits.
So we're talking about 12:35.
So we could have a special meeting probably before the 15th, so we can have things locked in and have receipts in hand by the 15th. We're looking at second is planning commission, third is
Camp.
election night, we're not doing it then.
Okay, I will make a note here, I got it on there, maybe on the planning commission has requested to move its meeting to the 9th, because they don't want to be here, I don't want them here. On the second, we got a lot of work to do.
Great.
If we're doing a special meeting to vote to approve that, is that gonna be too much on the second for you?
Oh, yeah, we need to set up for the election. It's gonna be devoted to that, I'll be bringing all that stuff down here right at the end of the day, we'll just set it all up in here.
So we just gotta figure out when we can get together and come to an agreement on what needs to be done.
If we were to have a special meeting on like the 5th or 6th, did we still make sure we had all the receipts in hand by the 15th?
We do the 5th, not the 6th, the next morning's deer hunt. Yeah.
I'm fine with and whatever. I don't have a life, so.
Yeah, it's not gonna be a long meeting, so.
Is the evening of the 5th acceptable to people? Is that gonna give us time to get things in hand and receipts? If we have a special meeting on the 5th, so we would have to have receipts in hand by the 15th.
I don't understand this, so receipts, we're talking about we've spent the money?
No, we have to have, the first thing you have to have is quotes, because that's what you're gonna be approving, not receipts.
Yep.
And then, the receipts will come, and we'll need that when we do the reporting.
So we're gonna get the money before
We already got the money.
the
We already
receipt.
got the money.
Yeah, we already got them, we got the money last one.
You have
Oh.
to allocate it. You come in with a quote that says, we're gonna do all this, here are all our specific items. It's gonna come out to $2,147.42. And then we approve that bid, just like the snow plowing bid, approve it. And then you buy the equipment, you get the documentation on that, and that's what we have to have for our reporting, which will be later.
And it has to be installed before the end of the year, or
It just, I think it just has to be in the building, I don't know, it has to be
or in the
installed.
building? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, trust me, we're all for installing it and showing Doug how to go live.
I mean, we got a meeting on the 17th, that'd be great if we could kind of have, I mean, even if there's glitches, at least if we could have the trial night on the 17th, that'd be great.
We'll just send all the love on Facebook from home. You go, guys. Great meeting. You can do it.
Just leave all the
You're gonna
hearts
be
on.
here.
At least to start, yeah.
I would entertain a motion to set a special meeting for the 5th.
Yeah. Time.
Let's do that, somebody else.
Earlier?
6 o'clock, I mean, it's Should be a pretty short and sweet
What's that?
meeting.
6 o'clock?
6 o'clock on,
John,
is that a motion?
I'll
Well,
make that
six o'clock won't work for me.
motion. What time can you be here?
7 is the earliest.
Okay. Shoot for
November 5th, 7 PM?
7 o'clock work for you?
Yeah.
Let's go ahead, 7 o'clock.
That's a motion?
I'll make that, yeah.
Motion been made by Mr. Hiller,
Second that motion.
second by Mr. Whitcomb, to have a special meeting on November 5th at 7 PM. Is there
Okay.
any-
Now, special meeting, because at our working meeting, we couldn't do any business, so this is, we're actually gonna
This
be.
is a
able to-
special meeting, it's
Okay.
different, yeah, that was a study session.
Okay. Just wanna make sure we can actually do something.
No, we can actually, we can conduct business only on the item that's on the agenda. So our agenda item is going to be CARES grant money.
We're not, okay, we're not adding anything else potentially here before the end of the night? I don't think so.
Anything.
Trip to Tahiti?
Typically, a special meeting pretty much stays as one item.
I could do a road report, short one. Keep it under an
Is
hour.
there, is there any further discussion about having a special meeting November 5th for the purpose of CARES grant?
I guess I kinda need to know some guidance, or am I kosher in telling Ron, go ahead and get everything put together on
I'd say
this?
yes.
Yes.
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay, that's all I needed.
There's nothing else that you guys need?
We just don't wanna
Yeah, there
spend the
is.
money stupidly. If, I
Right,
mean, there's
just-
different stuff we could buy, but if we get an audit and then all of a sudden they come out and say, no, that's not a kosher expense, then we're scrambling, trying to figure out where we're gonna pull that money out of.
Then either the
So,
township or the fire department is,
Well-
to be on.
Just so, I mean, we're not the only township, so Blue Hill's buying 2 Lucas machines.
Yeah.
Wynette's buying a Lucas machine.
Yep.
The city's already purchased a response vehicle.
Did one of the townships buy a bunch of medical equipment to stock it?
I think.
So you're taking care of that? That's all I
Yeah,
want
the
to know.
this is all that,
We would have loved to
He
got
could've
turnout
come up
gear
with.
put in on it, but we just, there wasn't enough time.
or, yeah, not just the time, it was
Yeah.
not really, might not even really work.
Yeah.
Something that was mentioned to me would be getting AEDs for all.
Oh, that was the other thing, an AED, somebody bought an AED.
For the churches.
Oh, no, for
I
the.
don't know if that's possible, if that's legal. It'd just be something-
There's gonna be different deals where the churches, and that's where the balance of our money is gonna go to the county, and then if churches, area businesses, if they wanna go to the county, they can go up to the county and apply for grants and stuff. And it's just, I think for each, for our township, we shouldn't be doing grants or anything like that. If they wanna get it, go to the county, and the county can decipher that out.
I know one time the MAT was really, one of their meetings, they were really strictly against any grants to
Yeah.
businesses or churches. Okay, so there's a motion to have a special meeting November 5th at 7 PM regarding CARES grant act money. Is there any further discussion? If not, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion's carried. Snow and ice control policy. You have a 3-page, I believe it
Yes,
is.
it was a 3. Might be in here for you. I think I had my own.
And
Ah. Never mind.
page 1, okay.
There's more than 1 page, there's like 4 pages.
Yeah, I get
Oh, we got it. Oh, okay, I got you.
This is the one.
3, yeah, I missed page 1, or page 2, I guess.
Oh, good.
There's
This is the one that
4 pages.
Jason kind of pulled together with what Thomas had, and I think come to work together on it, but yeah.
Are we ready to discuss this, or?
I've got it in front of me. You find it, John?
Yeah.
This is page 2.
That's what.
Yeah, I'd say I'm missing page 2.
On the backside,
Oh,
two-sided.
oh, okay. Okay. I think I went through it. Is everybody ready to act on this? Listen, you list one place where we have to list priority 1, priority 2, and priority 3 roads.
Well, actually, when I talked to, no, that was just, we don't have to, this was more for like counties or stuff like that, we don't have to fill those in. But we could, but.
But I guess I looked at this at home. Any discussion? Comments?
Like I said, the only comment I would make is on number 4 there with, I think it was, I don't know who it was, Jason or Thomas I was talking to. Just about, we've only got 44 miles of road, so they're gonna be able to have it all cleaned up within a couple hours. So it's not like we gotta really have, I mean, we could possibly put something in here that relates to hitting the paved roads a little more often, so ice doesn't get built up on the, but I think that can be left up to the contractor and working closely with us without really having to put it in here.
I don't see it.
Do we have a depth or
What's that?
do we have a actual which begins?
So we had a trigger of 3 inches was what we were talking, what we were switching it to.
Yeah, I don't see that here. Yeah, there it is, bottom, right above number 4.
Snow accumulation of 3 or more inches within 24 hours.
I'd say go ahead and probably leave it this way for now, and then check next year and just see, and maybe we wanna do a little, get input from our different residents. I mean, some of these township roads where we're getting some of these accurate road counts of how much traffic we got on them, you know, then we can sit down next year and look at them and say, okay, you know, this one's getting a little more traffic on it, maybe we need to either change the trigger or whatever, you know, kinda look at the numbers that way to see.
Yeah. The one thing that bothered me last year is, didn't Dahlheimer's use our grader to de-ice roads?
They did over on Aspen, didn't they?
I think it was the
And then we
Den
paid him
High. The Den High.
that $30-some an hour to use our equipment when we have a contract with him for snow and ice removal. That didn't sit well with me.
Well,
I don't know.
No.
You know, if I mean, I'm okay with, you know, using the grader, but there should be a charge.
I don't think we're doing that this year. He's got the equipment he has now has a belly scraper on it. I think that was kind of I wasn't part of it, so I don't know, was that a special situation?
I'm not sure.
You know, and then the other thing is he on our insurance? The township
He's got his
insurance?
He doesn't have to be if he's contracted.
he would be driving township equipment.
If he drove
Yeah.
our grader, I think he has to be on our
Right.
insurance, and I don't think he was. So that liability falls on us. Just so you guys are aware. So I don't know if we should have some kind of writing in there on that, if he does need to use the grader. So if he does need to use it, then he can use it if he's on our
Third contract.
insurance. Just trying to cover our bases.
Right, absolutely.
I would think on something like that, it would make more sense to have him on it as a township employee, so instead of paying him as normal business snow removal, then we're hiring him at